Well, hello and welcome to Camilla and I. I'm Mark Cooper, a wildlife photographer here in the UK. And here we are today, quick flip you around, at King Charles Pond, a popular little location of mine, here at Blackmore Copse, which is just inside the Wiltshire boundary here in the UK. And today I thought, as it's nice and quiet and we've just got a few dragonflies for company, we'll discuss my essential wildlife lens. So today, yes, we're going to discuss the focal lengths we go to, and indeed the order in which, I suppose, if I knew then what I know now, the order in which I would go about purchasing these lenses, and what these particular focal lengths do for us, and what they can do for you. So we'll do the order in which we're going to buy them, and also the use to which we'll put, and why we will purchase these particular focal lengths. So without further ado, I suppose I'd better introduce the first length that we would go to, the first lens that we would buy as a wildlife photographer now here in the UK, is the Sony 200 to 600, but of course this could be the Nikon 180 to 600 millimeter that they've just introduced now. Superb introduction lenses, and yeah, this is an essential lens that gets you to 600 millimeters. So the first lens I would purchase is this one here, a focal length of 200 to 600 millimeters. And that's really because if you're starting in wildlife photography, one of the most difficult things is getting close to your subject. And indeed here in the UK, if you want to get close to any small erratic flying birds, for example, you need at least 600 millimeters, I would suggest. 500 millimeters is great, but it does just fall short of that extra 100 millimeters. So if you can afford it, I would go for a 150 to 600, a 200 to 600, because it just enables you to stay just that bit further away from your subject and not scare it to death. So that's why we would go for a 600 millimeter. You're likely to get a larger image in the frame, whereas anything less you're going to come up a fraction short. So 600 millimeters, a good starting point for wildlife at any distance. And I suppose now is as good at any time to introduce today's sponsor of Camilla and I, Castle Cameras Salisbury here in Wiltshire. As you know, we recommend your independent local supplier, not your big firm, because we have to keep these small independent firms going. Anyway, at the moment Castle Cameras are offering the 200 to 600 Sony f5.6 to 6.3 lens at the bargain price of £15.99 here in the UK. So yeah, snap up a bargain now. As we know, if you're watching this, wildlife photography is not cheap, and this is a reasonable cost for a lens to get to 600 millimeters. So yeah, get down to your Castle Cameras supplier now. Yeah, so with the advert out of the way, what do you get for £1,600? Well, you get a pound change, but apart from that, you do get superb Sony optical glass from 200 millimeters, about 4 times magnification to about 12 times magnification. And yeah, this is extremely useful. I'll link to a number of examples taken with the 200 to 600 millimeter. I must admit, 90% of our shots taken with the 200 to 600 millimeter are normally at the long end, 600 millimeters, and this is because we do largely use this 1.4 reach. So yeah, when we're looking to get in on a subject, or our subject's a long way away, this is the lens we turn to. So what's the next lens? Good point. Okay, next lens coming up. So the next lens we would go for is the 70-200. Now, with the benefit of hindsight, this is the lens we'd go for, and we go for the best 70-200 you can afford. I mean, this is the G Master 2, which is £1,999 from Castle Cameras at the moment. It's the focal range we're going for, 70-200. Obviously this fills in the gap we're missing, is with the 200-600 we haven't got anything below the 200mm bracket, and of course we get a lot of action in the 4 times magnification or less area, which particularly with dragonflies, in this particular spot we've got some marvellous shots with this combination, and indeed the 70-200 particularly takes teleconverters exceptionally well. So on this occasion we've also purchased the £479 teleconverter in order to specialise in these dragonfly beauties here at Blackmore Copse. So a very versatile, getting buzzed, a very versatile lens indeed, and indeed it can be used for animals, etc., you know, anything that you can get close to, because it's not always the case in wildlife that you're a vast long distance away from something. If you want quality, then you want quality optics, and this f2.8 is really good in low light, and of course the best hours to be out in wildlife photography are the golden hours, so sometimes you need that low light capability. But if you don't need the low light capability, also you need the shallow depth of field that an f2.8 provides, so you can isolate your subject. Absolutely superb. So this would be my next lens to go for, the 70-200. Absolutely phenomenal, and the quality of this is unbelievable. So I'll show a few examples. So I've been experimenting around, thanks to Mad Max 2, with the 70-200 in combination with the 1.4, but you can do pretty well just with the 70-200 on dragonflies. But I must admit I am enjoying the length of 280mm at f4. So yeah, thanks Sony, superb. And of course it's available in all manufacturers. Everybody produces a 70-200, so no problem at all getting one of those. And indeed the teleconverters, I believe, are a lot cheaper in other manufacturers. Sony is particularly dear. Okay, so 70-200 is the next length I'd go to on Camilla and I. And the final essential lens we would go for on Camilla and I is the 90mm macro lens. Now you also get in Nikon, there's the 105 f2.8 macro lens, and I think Canon do a similar focal length, and again all the manufacturers do a short macro lens. And the reason why you go for a macro lens is because it's the same reason you go for a portrait lens in photography. You're looking to get the best quality possible, and this, I believe, is still the 10th sharpest lens in the world, despite the fact it's not a G Master lens. This is £849 of macro standard G glass, and it is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. The quality we get out of this is unbelievable. And although a lot of our wildlife subjects are erratic, move around, etc., etc. If you catch them first thing in the morning, butterflies, dragonflies, insects, first thing in the morning, or indeed when they're roosting at night, you can get superb quality images without your subject flying off if you're careful enough. And that is where the 90mm macro comes in. Absolutely tack sharp as it can get. Got a manual autofocus push pull on this one. Just hear it click in, autofocus, manual focus, and I just twist the dial. Absolutely superb. Rapid focus, f2.8, superb light capabilities, beautiful. And the main thing though is absolutely critically sharp. So yeah, that's why I would say. And yeah, that's my 3 essential lenses really. I mean, if you've got those 3 essential lenses, you're a wildlife photographer. Simple. If you've purchased those lenses, you can do the biz. Yeah, if only it was that easy. For example, we brought this one along this afternoon, and what I've noticed is there's a southern hawker that keeps buzzing this platform. Anyway, I haven't got it up close yet. I've got it at some distance from the platform with the 280 combination, the 7200 with 1.4, but I haven't got it up close because it keeps coming too darn close. So we'll see. If I manage to get it, it'll be at the end of this video. But basically we're trying to get the southern hawker full in the frame of the 90mm, and I know it comes close enough, so it should be possible. Anyway, so I've set the focus limiter on it to 0.5 to 2.8 meters. So the travel of the lens focusing travel is not very far at all on this motor, so it should in theory get in on the dragonfly no problem at all. But as we know with wildlife photography, there is a fair amount of skill in it. It's not all about the equipment. So yeah, don't forget to watch Camilla and I out in action, where we actually use the equipment that we've purchased. It doesn't just sit in a cupboard. We do actually get out and use all the lenses we've got, including our 600mm, which I don't include as an essential wildlife lens. So that's why it's not in this video, although it's on my A1 most of the time. Anyway, yeah, I think that's about it. 3 essential wildlife lenses on Camilla and I. Have a good one. Bye from Camilla and I. God, I do set myself some challenges sometimes.